Hi boys and girls, welcome to Mrs. Dolzig's Classroom Workshop. Today we are going to talk a little bit about snails. We have been outside a lot trying to gather as much information as we can about the things that are around us. And we thought today we would just share a few little facts about snails. And then we were going to teach you how to draw some snails. And if you have your watercolors, you can paint them. So, snail is a common name for gastropod mollusk. So, gastropod mollusk. That can be split into three groups: land snails, sea snails, and freshwater snails. Snails can have lungs or gills depending on the species and their habitat. Some marine snails actually can have lungs, and some land-based snails can have gills. Snails, like animals that do not have a shell, are usually called slugs. Most snail species have a ribbon-like tongue called a radula that contains thousands of microscopic teeth. So they have a ribbon-like tongue called a radula that contains thousands of microscopic teeth. The radula works like a file, ripping food up into tiny pieces. So just rip, 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 rip.
Hopefully it doesn't hurt.
I know. The majority of snails are herbivores, eating vegetation such as leaves, stems, and flowers. Some larger species and marine-based species can be predatory omnivores or even carnivores. Most herbivores, meaning they eat plants, but there are a few larger ones that can eat both and animals. The giant African land snail grows to about 15 inches and weighs 2 pounds. Luckily, the snails we find around here have mostly been just the tiny little ones. But we've been doing a lot out in our garden, and we've been noticing them a lot, and we were wondering if they were good for our garden, harmful, and we just want to know more about them. We find them fascinating. Common garden snails have a top speed of 50 yards per hour, making the snail one of the slowest creatures on Earth. As they move along, snails leave behind a trail of mucus, which acts as a lubricant to reduce surface friction, because they're moving so slow, so that lubricant is going to help with that friction. This also allows the snail to move along upside down. Depending on the species, snails can live 5 to 25 years. The common garden snail is regarded as an agricultural and garden pest, as it eats the leaves and stems of crops. So that's what we were trying to figure out, and after doing a little bit of research, we found out that, yes, unfortunately, they can be cute, but they are a pest for agriculture. The snail is a delicacy in French cuisine called escargot. The snail is also eaten in many other countries of the world, often as a fried meal, so some enjoy them. Snails cannot hear, but they can smell, and their sense of smell is their strongest of their 5 senses. So, just a little bit about snails. So if you find them, they're very interesting to watch how they move, how they leave that mucus. Do know though, you don't want to put them in your garden like worms. You don't want them there. But they are fascinating. Some people do enjoy them. So we just want to give a few little facts, and then we're going to teach you now how to draw some snails. So I got online and I found some fun little ones, and I'm going to do my very best to teach you how to draw a snail. Alright, so you need some paper. You can use a pencil. If you like to use a Sharpie like we do sometimes in class, you can do that as well. And then you can either choose when we're done to color it or to watercolor. We're going to start off with one of the easier snails to draw. So the first thing we're going to do is we are you're going to draw, and I'm just going to draw these all over my paper. I'm going to teach you how. You can learn how, and then you can manipulate them on your paper and put them into a picture. And you can make a card for somebody. We were talking about sending letters, snail mail. You could actually send them one of your snails. All right, so the first one, you're going to draw this round, long oval. Okay, so go ahead and try drawing that. All right. Good. And then you're going to come right here and you're going to draw one straight line. And then you're going to come over here and you're going to draw two straight lines really close together. And then we're going to draw a big round circle on the top of each of those. This is the part we found pretty cute. And then in the middle, you're going to fill it in. All right. And then you're going to come here and you're going to just kind of draw a roundish shape. Good. And then we're just going to draw some lines like this, just to give it its body shape. So there is one type of snail. And then when you're coloring it or painting it, the next thing you can do on this is you can give it some sort of design in its shell. Maybe you want to give it some zigzags. Maybe you want to give it some little upside down diamonds. Trickier to go fast. So this is up to you what you want to do. Maybe you want to make the traditional roundish shape in there. So it's up to you what kind of design you want to do on your shell. So that is one way. Another way we're going to do is we're going to start with our round shape. And then we're going to come right up here and we're going to make our little zig wavy line. And then we're going to come here and we're going to draw the head coming out. We're going to put the little tail coming out back here. We're going to give it a little smile. We're going to do some little lights. And some little lines down here too on the bottom part. And then the favorite part, we're going to come up here and like this. You can make them straight or you can make them rounded. I'm going to go ahead and give it round circles again. And then you can make your eyeballs pointing in the direction you want it to be looking. Oops, I turned off the light on us. There we go.
Mine's cross-eyed.
I like it. Alright, so there's one other version. How you doing on it? Good? Okay. Now we're going to draw another version. This one we're going to start with a body shape like this. Okay. Oops. You're welcome. And then we're going to come here and we're going to go and do our round like that. And then we're going to come up here and we're going to kind of give him an up and then kind of curve it down like that. So just kind of like a big come here and give it a curly. We're going to do this one's eyes a little different. And we're going to come here and give it a curly. Alright, then we're going to give one eye right here. And another eye over here. And then you're going to do your eyeballs. Where do you want it to be looking? And then we're going to connect its smile. And then we're going to show off its tongue with all those tiny little things on there. Alright, I'm going to teach you one more, okay? So this one, what we're going to do is we're going to make a big circle shape. And then we're going to start here and we're going to do that round, more traditional kind of, okay,
good.
More kind of traditional shell that we think of with a snail. I like these. We're going to add the little part that comes out the bottom here. Then right here we're going to go like this and we're going to go up. We're going to come across and down just a little bit like this. Right here we're going to go up, across, and down. Okay. And then we're going to go a little bit right here. And then we're going to go up here and across and down. Good. And then we're going to come right here and go a little bit like this. A little bit of its face, mouth. And then we're going to come here and we're going to go down into the body. And then we're going to come up here and give it a round circle and another round circle. Good job, girls. And then we're going to come right here and do our eyeballs again, and you get to choose where you want your snail to be looking. So those are 4 ways that I found that I wanted to try to teach you. So this is our snail. And maybe you could send it in the mail. Maybe you could send a card to someone that you've been thinking about during this time. But what you could do is you could leave them on your paper and you could color them, you could paint them. You could cut them out and glue them onto something else. You could look at the way you drew these or watch the video again and find out which one you like the best and draw it where you want. Maybe you want to add some grass. Maybe you want to add some leaves. The next thing you can do if you have those paints is you can paint them. I wanted to share with you, I did some watercoloring on them and it just gives them a fun little extra touch. So girls, do you want to go ahead and do some painting with yours? So they're going to, can I show your drawings? I'm going to show their drawings first because these are really cute. So here's Chloe's. I love those. See how she chose to do different kind of designs? That's the fun part about all of this is you get to make it how you want. And here's Anna's. And they were saying that one of them reminded them of the character off of SpongeBob. What was it called?
Gary.
Gary. So maybe you'll make your own Gary. But I'm going to let the girls start painting theirs. If they want to redraw it onto something, they may. But we hope you enjoyed our little bit about snails. We hope you feel inspired to maybe send somebody some snail mail. And we'll talk to you later. We'll see you again. Bye, everybody.